All right. Excellent. Welcome and good evening to everyone that has joined our session here regarding the education pathway. My name is Bradford Hubbard. I am the extremely proud principal of Wheeling High School. This is my first year at Wheeling High School and my first year in District 214. And so the pathway program that we have here is second to none. It's nationally renowned. And I'm excited to be a very small part of this amazing team that has built a series of more than 40 pathways aligned to 16 career clusters that really are focused on providing opportunities and experiences for our students here in District 214, giving them an opportunity to explore various careers, different opportunities, pathways, interests, and jobs, and really aligning what their interests and their passions are along with their skills and the expertise of our staff here in District 214. Tonight, we are here to talk about the pathway specifically aligned to the education pathway. Where this one is certainly near and dear to my heart, given the fact that my experience, my pathway has led me into a career of education, formerly a science teacher, and served in a number of different administrative roles and now principal here at Wheeling. And really excited to welcome everybody. What I'd like to do is allow our panelists briefly to introduce themselves, just their affiliation with our program, with our pathway, with our district, and then I'll give a high-level overview, certainly, of the education pathway, and then get into kind of a question and answer session as I moderate it and tap the expertise of those that have joined us on the panel tonight. And so I'll kick it over to just in the order that is on my sheet, and I think it's the order that's on the next slide, if we can go to the next slide. But welcome, Jay. Can you introduce yourself, please? We can go to Keisha. Uh-oh.
All right. I think you can hear me now.
Yes. Sorry.
I'm Jay Bickford. I'm a professor at EIU in the College of Education. I'm a District 214 dual credit partner.
Thank you very much for being here tonight, Jay. It's nice to meet you. Keisha?
Hi, and let there be voice. My name is Keisha Rembert. I am an assistant professor of teacher preparation at National Louis University and a proud dual credit partner with D214, and I'm always excited to get the products from your district because they shine.
Excellent. How about Ricky?
Hi, I am Ricky Castro, and I teach at Elk Grove High School within the Ed Academy program, which includes applied ed psychology that partners with National Louis and education in a diverse society that partners with Eastern Illinois University. And welcome, everyone.
Thank you for being here. Jamie?
Hi, welcome everyone. I am Jamie Kiravuzis, and I'm at Wheeling High School. This is currently my 22nd year. And I am the entire education pathway teacher right now, from foundations all the way through our college dual credit courses, as well as I'm also the director of our preschool lab daycare center at Wheeling High School.
Does it all and has done it for a long time here. We're lucky to have you here. Linda?
Thank you. My name is Linda Thorson. I've also been a teacher for 22 years, and for the last 14 years, I've been teaching all education pathway classes, including Education Academy.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight. How about April?
Hi, everyone. My name is April Gregory, and I am a student success coach with District 214. Right now, I am placed at Buffalo Grove High School, but there is a student success coach in every building that works with students regarding career exploration, internships, and apprenticeships.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us tonight and being on our panel. And we have two students with us tonight. We have Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm a junior at Hersey High School, and I plan on pursuing a teaching career in the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's nice to meet you. And how about Beckham?
Hi, everyone. I'm Beckham Cordell. I am a current senior at Buffalo Grove High School. I've been in the education pathway for 4 years. And next year, I plan on pursuing a career, going to a university to help pursue a career in early childhood education.
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you both for joining us tonight and taking time out of your busy schedules. I know that we really value the voice of our students and look forward to what you're able to offer this panel tonight. I'll just give a brief overview of the education pathway, and certainly we're joined on the panel with really the true experts, our resident experts here in the district and our district partners with respect to the two universities that we partner with. But certainly the ed pathway is a pathway that fits into our career clusters. Like I said, there's 16 career clusters here in District 214 and more than 40 different pathways. The ed pathway is really unique, and I think it's really special for a variety of reasons. First of all, is the idea, the concept, the reality that we truly have not just a teacher shortage here in Illinois and the United States, but it's becoming to the point where it's a crisis. We're seeing decreasing numbers of enrollments of students identified in teacher prep programs. We're seeing increased numbers of districts reporting vacancies in not just the traditional, for a long time, we've identified special education, science, and math kind of as high need areas. Really, what the state has done is identified every area, every teaching credential, every grade level as a high need area at this point. And what we've tried to do in District 214 is build a pathway, kind of what some people refer to as a grow your own program, providing students opportunities to explore education as a career, to get them work-related experiences on top of the education, the classroom experiences, get them teaching in front of students in our schools and in our partner schools, and really providing them a glimpse and a pathway to explore education. The unique part about this pathway is that Wheeling High School in our other pathways serves as the educator, and we partner with community partners. But in this situation, we're the educator and we're also the employer. District 214 is constantly looking for highly qualified, skilled positions to be able to interface with our students and join our team in terms of teaching and learning here at our high schools. And so when we serve as the partner, we serve as the employer, we serve as the educator. This is a really unique pathway that we've stood up here in District 214. And really, all of our pathways begin with, and you can see the next 3 slides, and these will be shared. These are slides straight from our career guidebook, and there's a link at the back on how to access this guidebook and this information. But really what our education pathway does is provide a series of courses specifically in education, but then also recommended courses in all of our other content areas for students to really set them up on a path to be able to transition seamlessly into a post-secondary learning experience where they receive their bachelor's degree after having obtained dual credit opportunities, and that's college credit while they're here at the high school. And so really our educator prep program really begins with a sequence of courses that provide students an orientation experience. And those are the first 2 courses that you see there, the Foundations of Learning and Development and the Introduction to Teaching Methods. And these orientation courses really give students an opportunity to develop the skills and the knowledge that are required to become an educator, but also provides them with authentic opportunities to observe and teach in a variety of classroom environments. And eventually, as they matriculate through the courses that we have here that are offered at the District 214 schools, they provide partnerships with our dual credit partners so that students are receiving college credit toward their education bachelor's degree. Really, the idea is that we provide this seamless transition. We're building our own network, we're building our bench, we're expanding, diversifying, and deepening our candidate pool, where students have an opportunity to explore teaching as a career, explore education as a career. We provide them support, certainly while they're here in District 214, but you'll hear a little bit later about how we're able to support them through our partnerships with both National Louis University and Eastern Illinois University. And then our goal is to have them return to our community. And the really unique part about the education pathway is that if our students stay the course with the educator prep program, take our various courses here, go on to one of our two partnered schools, National Louis and Eastern Illinois, and complete their program, our students are guaranteed student teaching placements either here at District 214 or our neighborhood partner schools. And they're also guaranteed, with successful completion of that student teaching experience, guaranteed an opportunity to interview for positions at both primary and secondary levels if there are jobs available when they become credentialed. And so the exciting part of our education pathways, we've got an opportunity for students to come right back here and serve our communities, which is an incredibly important. And it's not well known. There's a lot of districts around the country that are trying to stand up programs that we have right here in District 214. As you can see, after our orientation courses in the early childhood pathway, students go into practicum, and this is where our experts on the panel will be able to talk about what is entailed in these practicum experiences. And then our College Education Academy is really our dual credit partnerships. And those are our capstone experiences. Those are the experiences that our students have toward the end of their high school career that really set them up and pave the path for them to truly be able to experience and to be able to both persist and persevere on this pathway toward becoming credentialed educators. If we can go to the next slide real quick, before I start asking questions of our panel. You can see our primary education starts with the same two orientation courses. They have an elective in their 10th grade year. There's two classes, their junior year, and again, the capstone is that College Education Academy. And the difference between this slide and the next slide, which is specific to our secondary education, really the only real difference here is that as students are thinking about becoming secondary teachers and needing to get the credentials or having identify a major in what they actually want to teach, you can see on that just to the right of the progression, you can see the post-secondary where we really encourage students to, if they want to become a science teacher or a physics teacher, to really experience, take those AP courses and really hone in on taking content-specific courses that they're interested in teaching. And so that's really the main difference between the primary and the secondary education pathways. I'll hit pause real quick and see if anybody on our panel has something else to offer in terms of how this pathway progresses, how it stands up, and how students elect into this and are supported throughout the course of the process. Yes, Jay.
One other element that I would add is the opportunity for students of color to come to Eastern Illinois University after their junior, before their senior year, for college credit in the Minority Teacher Identification and Enrichment Program, where for 3 weeks over the summer, in the mornings, they'll be taking a college class, and in the afternoon, they'll do something like tutoring. Different activities with elementary, middle, or even high school students. We've run it for 2 or 3 years now, and students at the end finish with a college class that's transferable to any school in the state, intro to education. But yeah, I just wanted to add that one.
That's incredible. Thank you for adding that. That's definitely important. Anyone else on the panel have anything to offer before I jump into my series of questions that we've put together for tonight? How was my overview?
Perfect.
All right, excellent. First, I'd like to start with our teachers. We've got 3 of our teachers here from District 214 that have joined us tonight. And maybe this first one, I'll float out to Linda, if that's okay. Can you talk a little bit about the courses that you teach as part of this pathway, and specifically, what is the content and or the skills that students are acquiring as part of those courses?
Hi, sure, I'd be happy to. So I teach all of the levels. I do not work in the early childhood anymore, but I did for many years. One thing I did want to add was if you're taking a look at the slide there, secondary education, and also for primary education, you have elective in there for year 2. But I do want to suggest, and I bet Beckham could probably speak to this, if he's taken pathway classes for all 4 years, you can take those early childhood practicum classes as well. And so just because you don't want to be, say, an early childhood teacher, those practicum classes are hands-on experiences to learn how to lesson plan, to learn how to get over nerves about speaking in front of people and those kinds of things. Because to write a lesson plan in early childhood is the same components that are in a primary lesson plan, a middle school lesson plan, and a high school lesson plan. And so that's something really neat too, that we do have opportunities throughout all of those levels. And I think probably the biggest skills that you learn in all of these classes, besides how to handle academic rigor of college classes, would be those opportunities to get into lab schools. We all have lab schools in our schools, except for Prospect. And you can get in there and get that experience right away, learning how to work with our students, learn how to lesson plan, learn how to be in front of a group, that kind of thing. And so that's pretty unheard of. Our students who come back, who've been all the way through to Education Academy, come back and they are guest speakers for our classes, and they say that honestly, they as freshmen get a little bored because in a lot of schools you aren't allowed to be in the classrooms yet. Some colleges you don't get in the classroom until you're a junior, and so they say that we've been doing this for 4 years. We'd like to do it more.
Absolutely. And I think that that's really important, this idea that, I didn't realize that, as that elective in that 10th grade year, being able to take even those early childhood classes, I think the getting out, the bringing in the guest speakers, the exposure to the career really is an important piece. And so I'll throw it over to Jamie just to talk a little bit about, can you talk about your own personal path, your certifications, how you landed in the position that you're at, where you're able to teach these classes, but also be affiliated with our Wildcat preschool program?
Sure thing. Like I said, I've been in the district for 22 years and I didn't realize how much I lucked out, but Percy and Wheeling both needed teachers when I was student teaching. And so I got a job before I even finished student teaching in family and consumer science education. And throughout the time, I've ended up at Wheeling, and I was able to, we had a preschool, we converted it into a daycare. And so I've been running that daycare center, which has been awesome. Like Linda said, there's so many amazing opportunities, and kids get the experience of that hands-on working with kids, lesson planning. And usually once students get into, the practicum and intro to teaching, it's like they're sucked in and they just want to take those classes the rest of the 4 years. It really truly is just a nice break in your day. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is I took all these classes myself in high school, and I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher. And so I all of a sudden took a foundations class. I'm like, this is kind of fun. And then I got to work in my school's preschool lab, and I just kind of found my spot. That was my place that I truly was the happiest in school. And I always think everyone needs like a place to connect when you're in school. And being in the preschool was mine. I absolutely loved it. And from that, I got to do a class similar to our Education Academy. And I got to go out into the community, and I was in a kindergarten and a 2nd grade class. And I think I finally realized that I definitely want to be a teacher. This is something I enjoy. And I originally thought I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. So I went to ISU, which is a great teaching school. And after a few years, I ended up switching into high school. And I figure now I have the best of both worlds. I still get the preschoolers by running the daycare and teaching the practicum, but I also do love the interactions from high schoolers. And I think that's what's so great, is this program really allows you guys to get in there and to figure out if you want to teach. And some people are going to come out and say, you know what, that's not for me, but I'm glad you figured that out in high school versus having to go off to college. So we just have so many opportunities where you can take these classes and explore, from working in early childhood to elementary to middle school to high school. We have internship opportunities throughout all of that.
That's awesome. And the internship opportunities are really important. And I heard you say that maybe your interest initially might not have been where you landed, and like the experience piece is really important. So I'll throw it to Ricky if it's okay. Can you talk a little bit about when you get a student that raises their hand and says that they're interested in education as a career? What's that conversation like? What's that experience like to help them kind of hone in on whether it's early childhood, primary, or secondary?
Okay. Yes. Thanks for the question. That's a great question. And I think the benefit that our program has is exposing our students to real life experiences. For example, with our education academy, students are placed at a local community school, and they get to choose. For example, I have a student right now that is observing a first grade classroom, and she's learning a lot, working with her cooperating teacher, and then kind of has figured out through just interactions and applying her lesson plans that she wants to try an older group, a middle school group. And I think the beauty of having our programs is that there is choice, and there are different opportunities for our students to see what they like and see where they fit in. And I definitely, as we go through this process, we have reflections, we have applications, we have moments where we have interviews with them, and just kind of give them the support they need to make better decisions even before they get to college.
Absolutely. And that's really important. I think one of the things that I failed to say really is, this idea of, once they're in the pathway and they're able to accumulate college credits as part of our programming here in District 214, it makes that transition to college more seamless in terms of the experience, but it also significantly decreases costs and kind of accelerates the opportunities that they're able to explore. And so that's a good segue to maybe tapping into some of our partners. And I'll throw it over to Keisha first. Can you talk a little bit about our partnership with National Louis and what specific kind of transition, what that transition is like, and how is National Louis a partner here with District 214?
Thank you. First of all, I just have to say that, wow, I missed out in not attending school in District 214 because just looking at the pathways that you all have for students is amazing. And quite frankly, I've taught a number of students in our Wheeling campus and in our Chicago campus that come from D214. And quite frankly, I know it. I know it because they are prepared and they're ready to lead. And so that is really exciting. At National Louis, we have, oh my goodness, I think I forgot the question. I was gushing so much. Can you repeat it for me?
How do we provide that transition, and what does that partnership between National Louis and D214 look like?
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a long day. It is, you know what, it's quite seamless because there is the dual credit offered. So your students come with a leg up most often, having taken those classes, and can really jump right into active learning, as well as your Educator Rising group that offers a seamless transition. And a lot of your students come and are leaders in that Educator Rising space, having gone through it through D214. So I see it as almost just an extension. Your students are ready and they're eager to hit the ground running because they've had that experience. And also, Linda mentioned before, some schools don't have that opportunity for students to get into the classroom until much later. Well, here at National Louis, as sophomores, students get an opportunity to get in that classroom, so they're not as bored for as long. You know, they know that pretty soon they've been in the classroom and they'll get back into the classroom and start connecting theory to practice.
That's so important, that the actual application. I think one of the things that we say are teachers aren't always the greatest students. They want to be with people and they want to be practicing and applying and working with students. And so sometimes that coursework and sitting and I think that jumping right in and giving those real experiences, I think, is really important, whether it's through observations or practicum, or student teaching or teaching. Jay, can you talk a little bit about, one of the things that is really great about our pathways is that while the students are here at their schools in District 214, there's a lot of supports. There's a lot of systems to help them be successful. And I think one of the questions that sometimes students and parents have is, what kind of supports do we have once we matriculate to that post-secondary experience? And so as a dual credit partner, knowing what they're coming in with, what does it look like when they get to your institution at Eastern, and what do those supports look like to make sure that they're able to continue to persist and complete the program?
Great question. First, it's multifaceted, very complex and in lots of different ways, but it works. We have advisors where they meet through whether they're transferring from a community college or coming straight through high school, that walk them through the program and that meet with them each semester. We also have programs to get the students in classrooms as quick and as early and as often as possible for those experiences that all the teachers mentioned above. We're teaching, like you said, Mr. Hubbard, it's a solo sport, and people want practices in there. So our job as a higher education institution is to get them as much realistic experiences as possible, and to give them as much scaffolding as possible. This is why we have a dozen different student groups in the College of Education that are tied to specific disciplines or content areas or grade ranges. This is also why there's about 30 other university programs and university groups across campus for all sorts of DEI efforts or interests or hobbies, or even things like video gaming, to make the students feel comfortable as they're exploring their new environments, because the classes get fewer, although the homework gets larger when you get into college. So we have all sorts of other things on our Charleston campus to help students fit right in and feel at home.
I love that. That's exciting, right? When students go off to school and there's so many different things for them to discover and get involved in. And certainly what you're majoring in and what your career goals are is one component of that identity. But another component of it is kind of getting immersed into all the other things that college campuses have to offer. I'm going to save the students for just another second. And so I'm going to go to April real quickly. Can you talk a little bit about your role here and the role of our student success coaches in identifying what it is that they're interested in and really honing in on that pathway that's going to speak to them and that they're going to be successful in?
Yeah, so a big part of what I do on a daily basis is have conversations with students about what they want to do when they graduate. And oftentimes I'll hear like criminal psychologist, and then I'll hear a conversation like educating. So what's really cool is that the education pathway has so many embedded work-based learning experiences in the pathway already. So these students really get the opportunity to be hands-on and with the preschools in the buildings, and then opportunities within our community schools. They really get the chance to try out education, and I'm so grateful that those opportunities exist for students. Sometimes, and the fun part of my job is that we get to be a little creative. So I'm working with a student right now that is not in the education pathway, but he has identified leadership and a love of coaching and teaching people younger than him about topics that he loves, like physics. And so we are exploring just how could he experience education within an internship. And so sometimes it falls within the pathway, and then other times we get a little creative and figure out how to give him that experience. And so I'm currently talking with a lot of the education teachers at Buffalo Grove High School to see what's possible. So I just love the wide net that we really get to cast and give opportunities to students. So.
And I think that that's such an important highlight, right? Like when I first, was looking at District 214 and really excited about the opportunity to come here and the pathways, it's just hard to imagine someone in ninth grade knowing exactly what their path is going to be. And really, there's a lot of fluidity and a lot of flexibility in how students are able to explore the various pathways, and the role with the student success coaches, just these ongoing conversations with our coaches, with our counselors, and helping students that if something that they try out in ninth grade isn't what they're really passionate about, there's a lot of opportunities for them to switch pathways and to navigate multiple pathways. And so I think it's really important to say that. It can be overwhelming, specifically for like an incoming eighth grader that's getting ready and excited about high school, but kind of overwhelmed with this idea that I need to narrow it down right now. And that's really not the case. And so I appreciate you bringing that up. So I'd like to switch to our students. And, I really believe in the power of student voice, and the most important voice that we have here in any school district, but specifically District 214, is our student voice and our student experience. And so really appreciate Sophia and Beckham for joining us. And my first question, maybe I'll throw it to Sophia if that's okay. Can you just talk a little bit about how you selected this as your pathway and what courses you've taken and how you think that they've prepared you for what's next?
So I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, like from when I was like very little. I've always loved just like teaching and just like connecting with kids. And I've just always loved it. So during my freshman year, I was in Intro to Teaching Methods and also practicum in early education 2. And then during my sophomore year, I was in practicum in early education 3 and 4. And then this year I'm going to be, during my second semester, I will be in college intro to childhood education. But I think for me, the experience of being like in the classroom, in the preschool classroom, really just kind of helped me get a better understanding of what age group I want to teach. Like for me personally, preschoolers were like not a fit for me, like in what I like a age group I see teaching in the future. And like it's totally different for everyone, but it just helped me realize that like older kids is like more my cup of tea of what I want to teach.
I love that. The experience. I think it's important. I've tried a number of different things, and you figure out kind of where that sweet spot is in terms of where you feel like you're comfortable and where you're passionate, but also kind of where you're going to have that impact. And I think one of the greatest things about education is you've got this unbelievable opportunity to impact the trajectories of students' experiences and lives. And I don't know that there's another career that offers it to the extent that education does. Beckham, can you talk us through a little bit, maybe more about kind of where your interest is? I think you said early childhood, if I remember correctly, or primary, and kind of what has your learning experience been like outside of the walls of your high school? What has been that work-based experience, and what have you learned the most from those opportunities?
Yeah, so at Buffalo Grove, I've taken every single education class except inquiry. So I've had a lot of experience at different age levels. Currently, right now, I am student teaching at a preschool for all class at Longfellow Elementary through the Ed Academy program, which is really interesting. The experience has taught me a lot. I'm not just like sitting back and watching the teacher. I am actively involved with the students and the curriculum that they're being taught. And I mean, when I first came into high school, I thought I wanted to be a middle school health teacher. But obviously through these classes and stuff and experience with not only the Little Bison Preschool Buffalo Grove, but then now also this Longfellow Elementary School internship, it's really opened my eyes into seeing that early childhood is the path that I want to go down. And even though I'm pretty certain in that, next semester I will be able to student teach at one of our partnering middle schools. They have not been assigned yet, but I do know it will be a middle school. And I think that will also be exciting because through this pathway, I've been able to experience early childhood, elementary school, middle school, and high school teaching. So, and then, from that, I now know my path going into college next year.
It's incredible. First of all, I'm proud of the two of you. It's awesome that you've selected this as your path and taken advantage of all the different courses and the resources that we have. And just really, I never had the chance to experience early childhood or primary, and to see if that would have been something that spoke to me. Certainly, I'm happy with the path, obviously, that I've taken. But I just think to be able to have that experience at the early childhood, the primary, the middle, the secondary experiences here in high school, and really jumping into that college and making that transition, knowing or more concretely knowing or having a better sense of where you're passionate at. I just really appreciate that you've both taken the time to navigate the courses, to allow each experience to kind of be its own experience and kind of speak to what it is that you're interested and passionate about. I've got a whole list of questions, and there's so many more things that we can certainly ask and answer. But I think, as we look at the time, what I'd like to do is just go from kind of top to bottom, as we were joined tonight by students, prospective students, families. What is a piece of advice or what is something that you would say is kind of a must do or a must explore or a must try, as someone is interested in potentially the education pathway? If okay, I'll start with Jay and just go down as we did our introductions, if that's all right.
Hello. I would say, first of all, be curious. Be curious about things that you're interested in and read a lot about it and ask other people who have real world experiences with it. Just be curious. And the second thing I would encourage you to do is find leadership opportunities, whether it's as a lifeguard or a camp counselor or something like that. Find your voice. It's hard being a kid because everybody tells you what to do all the time. And then suddenly they expect you to be independent when you go off to college. So the idea of be a camp counselor and find leadership roles, things like that, I think will really help you find your voice.
Oh, I love that. I think finding voice and experiencing any variety of leadership roles is so critically important, and that's wonderful. Keisha?
Yeah, man, Jay, that was awesome. I think he stole my answer. This is coming from someone who came to education rather late. I think I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, but needed to explore other paths. And I think that was valuable for me. So while education, I heard Sophia and Beckham have embraced it. I would say also explore your other passions, because we bring those other passions with us into the classroom, and they round out who we are as individuals and the experiences that we give students.
Oh, that's so important. Absolutely. I think the more that we are in tune with what we're passionate about gives us so many more opportunities to make connections with students that we interface with. And a lot of times we'll find a student that's passionate about something that you're excited about, and it creates that opportunity to build that relationship. And I think the most important piece is we talk about education and this career and this pathway, and what we do here in District 214 is really predicated on strong relationships and having those inroads, just based on what your interests are and what our students' interests are. That's great advice. I think exploring passions is awesome. Ricky, can you talk a little bit about what advice you might provide?
Thank you. Yes, I think my experience as a first generation teacher and being new to education when compared to my family, I definitely believe developing a growth